Good evening, everyone. Call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, June 24th, 2021, 6 p.m. I'd like to ask Danny Lance with True Life Church and one of our police chaplains who will come forward and provide our invocation and lead us in our pledge. If everyone will stand.
Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, first of all, we are grateful for every good thing in our life, for your word tells us that every good thing comes from you. And Lord, we are also thankful for these people that we have chosen as leaders, as they have done a very, very great job of leading us. And tonight, Lord, I ask you to give them courage to make hard decisions, to give them wisdom to make good decisions, and to give them compassion to make compassionate and caring decisions that are for the good of our community. We thank you, Lord, for their leadership. We ask your blessing on them. We ask your peace on them, peace of mind as they consider these things. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Helton, here. Councilmember Witt, here. City Manager Dorsey, City Attorney Litchford.
Here. All right, we'll move to item B, Awards of Valor, Police Department. Chief Allen.
Yes, Mayor, Council, I have 2 awards. We're looking for our other officer. Iverson, have you seen him? Supposed to be right here. I'll go ahead.
Here comes somebody.
On May 7th of this year, police and fire department responded to a residential fire at 3587 Bennett Road. When units arrived on the scene, they were informed that there was someone trapped inside. 2 of our officers and firemen went into the building under heavy smoke in an attempt to rescue the gentleman. So I will ask Officer Teddy Dyer to come up. And Jason Daverson. This is a Commendation of Valor, which is the highest award given by the police department. In recognition of your extraordinary heroism, May 27, 2001, when responding to a residential fire at 3587 Bennett Road with reported entrapment, you entered the home to attempt to rescue a 37-year-old autistic male. Despite the presence of heavy black smoke and while fully aware of the imminent threat to your own personal safety, you assumed a voluntary course of action above and beyond the call of duty to attempt to pull the victim to safety. Your course of action displays the uncommon bravery, dedication, and service to the citizens of East Ridge. Presented this 24th day of June, 2021. This is Officer Teddy Dyer and Corporal Jason Daverson, and I want to point out Corporal Daverson went into the house twice in an attempt to rescue this gentleman, and once they got him outside, both of them, while overcome with the smoke, started CPR on the victim. Thanks, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate your service. All right, we'll move to item C, report of debt obligation.
Yes, if you'll remember back in March, the council decided for us to refund, it's called refunding. refunding some of our notes and bond issues that had variable rates on them. And we have just finished closing that a week ago, and this is to have it put into the record that this debt has been done, that we have done everything in compliance with the state of Tennessee. And we have saved almost $1 million in interest by doing this over the coming years.
Thank you. All right, if I may, real quick, I failed to recognize Commissioner Boyd. Thank you for being in attendance. We appreciate you. We'll move to item 4, consent agenda. I assume everyone has had an opportunity to review the minutes of June 10th, 2021, financial report, May 2021, and the declaration of surplus property. I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Hilton and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion or corrections? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Abstain, I was not here.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item 5, communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen, business owner who would like to come forward and bring a question, concern, accolade to the council. Oh, yes, and they will be. Okay, so, Mr. McCullough, you'll just pass until the public hearing? Okay. So that's, Mr. McCullough is the only one that is signed in, but we'll offer the opportunity for anyone in the audience, if they'd like to come forward, and have 5 minutes to address the council. I see no one. So we'll move to communications from council members. Start on this side. Councilman Witt,
Nothing at this time.
Councilmember Hilton,
Nothing at this time.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilmember Cagle.
I've had some citizens to call and request the road at Scruggs, a little short street from Ringo Road to top of the hill there at Georgie. And I'd like for someone to go down and look at it, but it's not very much, and, you know, it's all commercial there, so I'd really like to see our residential streets get took care of before that little section there, but if we have the funds and then the need is there, I hadn't went down and looked at it personally, but I'd like for them to go down and look at it, see if it's feasible to putting on the asphalt list.
Yeah, I can go down there and take a look at it, myself or staff, and then provide you back with a report.
I can pre-warn you, it's pretty bad. Now, we've actually done a street study, correct? Analysis on,
That's correct. I'll provide an update on that.
Okay.
When it's my chance.
awesome, thank you, sir. All right, so, several things I wanted to mention. We had a great turnout and had a blast at the East Ridge Optimus Fishing Rodeo last weekend. The kids had a blast catching fish. Appreciate TWRA that was there, that was helping. It was amazing seeing the kids catching fish and running up and getting them weighed. It was awesome. Then the next weekend we had the Optimus had the Cars for Kid Auto Show. That was also very good. It was a little light turnout, but we had some great cars, great weather. It was a great car show as well. And then Honda Power Sports. That was an amazing day. If you didn't make it there, you missed a lot. You missed a lot of people because there were thousands and thousands of people there. It was they had live music. We're very excited to have them in our city. And they gave away a $18,000 side-by-side for free, just for registering and being there. So it was another good day for the city of East Ridge. Then on this Friday, tomorrow, Chattanooga Pro Street Tour Cruise In at Camp Jordan will be at 6 o'clock. Bring your cars, trucks, motorcycles, or just come out and see some cool vehicles and have a great time. So that's going to be tomorrow evening at Camp Jordan. Then on the 26th, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but Discovery Outlet, where the Eckards, old Rite Aid, they're opening up on the Saturday the 26th, 10 a.m. for their grand opening here in East Ridge. They're going to have an online giveaway, so if you're out on social media for $250 store credit. They're also going to have hot dogs, drinks, and live music and giveaways also on the 26th. So if you get a chance, go by there and check them out. Then Pandora is July, Pandora Motorsports is going to be July the 10th, is that correct? 10th and 11th for the grand opening, July? Soft opening. Yeah, soft opening is tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that update. I didn't realize the soft opening was tomorrow. So they're directly across from Honda Power Sports. We're excited to have them come to East Ridge as well. Then I want to keep mentioning this. This is cool, I think. Balloon Glow event, July the 30th through August the 1st. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The gates will open at 5:30. They're going to do tether rides from 6 to 9, and then they'll have a balloon glow from 8:30 to 9:30. That's going to be awesome in Camp Jordan, seeing the big hot air balloons illuminated here in East Ridge. Then I can't not also mention, it's a ways away, but it'll be here before you know it, the East Ridge Centennial Celebration, Saturday the 25th from 8 to 10. It's free, Camp Jordan Park. Come help us celebrate 100 years. We're going to honor history, celebrate our progress, and looking forward to our future. We'll have live music from local bands. There'll be family-friendly events. There'll be a marathon, yard games. There'll be an art walk with some local artists, market fair, craft vendors. So it'll be a great time. So please come and join us on it. Then lastly, I wanted to, if you hadn't heard yet, East Ridge was awarded a $25,000 grant from the Dog Park Dash. So there was only one of 15 that was granted. We were one of those by the Boyd Foundation, and they'll provide the money, opportunity for us to create a dog park at Springvale Park, which is in the heart center of East Ridge. It's about 2 acres, and they'll have plenty of space for social outlet for their dogs and their owners. So we're excited and very blessed to have that, be awarded that. That's all that I have. So I'll pass it off to Assistant City Manager Custer.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., the Chattanooga Lady Red Wolves take on Nashville Rhythm. Nashville Rhythm is currently leading the conference. That is at 7 p.m. at CHI Memorial Stadium. On Saturday, the men's team, Chattanooga Red Wolves, takes on Greenville Triumph. That was actually the last year's division winners. Currently, the Chattanooga Red Wolves sit in first in the division, so they are leading. So that'll be a big game on Saturday. And then again, Sunday at 7, the Lady Red Wolves are back in action at CHI Memorial Stadium at 7 p.m. against Alabama FC. So that's a few events for right this weekend. If everybody would like to get out, come out and support your local soccer club.
And if I may, real quick, if you haven't seen the progress to the stadium, it is amazing.
It's moving it's finally moving kind of rapidly. They're into that
Yes.
point right with the executive suites, and as a matter of fact, they just finished some grade work on the far side of the stadium for all the locker rooms and training and all that, and the other set of stands that'll go on the interstate side. So
And Jumbotron.
that'll start coming out of the ground pretty soon.
And Jumbotron.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely something to see.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Yesterday, at the TPO meeting, the executive board voted. We had applied for some funding that was last minute. Highway improvement program funds. We were awarded and it voted by the executive board for $337,505. That is an 80-20 match. That's $225,800 for Moore Road for resurfacing, and then another $196,081 for design and NEPA for Spring Creek Road. So that'll obviously come back before council pretty soon to discuss. But just wanted to give you a heads up that they've already done their resolution, and that's kind of moving forward. Speaking of streets and highways, is kind of what we've talked about. We actually did do the inventory. The inventory is done. Over 100 miles of streets were driven and inventoried. All the data was collected. We are actually scheduled for a meeting next week to actually go over everything about how the evaluation turned out. The good thing about this evaluation is it's been checked and double-checked and ran through all the algorithms, and it will actually create a resurfacing plan for the city based on need. So it's not us just randomly picking streets. It's going to group them together on what is the most need, what do we need, what is the current need. And then we can start setting a true resurfacing plan instead of just getting the calls, going to see one or two streets. We can actually put a long-term plan together on how we're going to resurface these and maintain these for the next 20-plus years. Other than that, that's all I have, with the exception of this being my last meeting. It's definitely the last meeting sitting up here. So I would just like to say it's been 20 years and a long time, and there's a lot of people that I could sit up here and thank, but I would like to really sincerely thank, one, my family for the support that they've given me all the years, and two, all the mentors that I've had that's not only helped me professionally but personally throughout my career here with the city. And like I say, you heard me talk about this a few weeks ago. I started here when I was 18 years old. Had no idea I'd be doing what I am doing today. But looking back, man, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing. It's there's been some challenges, been some hurdles, but at the end of the day, I really feel like we're on a path to do incredible things here. And I think we've came a long way. And I think there's a lot of support from the community. There's a lot of support with county commission. I mean, there's things are better now than they have been, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, in a long time. And I think there's a lot of people out there working together, a lot of citizens wanting to get involved, and the citizen interaction's been great. So for me, it has been an absolute blessing. And I really look forward to see what the future holds for the city. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you all, and I'll miss everybody, but I'm sure I'll be visiting on a regular basis. So, but I just want to say thanks to everybody.
Well, thank you. You will definitely be missed, and we appreciate your, at this point, basically your life commitment
Yes.
that you've done here, and we appreciate your service. And you won't be too far away.
Now, I won't be too far away.
So, thank you, sir. All right, we'll move into old business. Item A, public hearing for ordinance number 1147 for the fiscal year 2022 budget ordinance. So I'll open up this public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come forward and address the council, now is your opportunity. Please state your name and address, please.
Charles McCullough, 1214 East Street, or 1214 Reeves. Before I get on my soapbox, there's been a little bit of confusion about revenues versus rates on here. Is our budget, is this new budget based on existing revenues, or is it based on the existing rate? Meaning, do we keep the same rate and get a 35% tax hike from the assessor, or is it based on existing revenues, meaning we go to the certified rate once we get it?
So the current budget that is in front of you that everybody's been presented without any amendments is at the current rate of what it is today at $1.35, without any proposed amendments to the budget. It's currently balanced and flat at $1.35.
Okay, so it's balanced and flat at 135 at the new assessments,
No.
at the old assessment.
You can't count the new assessment because it's
Okay.
not out yet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the confusion came in, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the assessments are still being, I think, there's some that's challenged them, so those are still being debated individual by individual, and we don't have the new certified rate. So we have to roll basically with the current rate, which is the
It's
13381, correct.
That's what we have to go with for now. When we receive our certified tax rate, then we have to come back before the council at that time, because we have to certify the rate. and that will depend on what we get from the county. And well, this is why we're doing it this way. Most cities do it this way. You
Okay.
just use your old rate, and then when we get the certified rate, we will adjust accordingly.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll moderate my soapbox quite a bit. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But,
essentially, Charles, once that comes back in, whenever the meeting is, August, October, then that's when the council will decide whether that rate stays at the adjusted rate or whether it's advertised as an increase and
Right.
accepts a different rate.
And I do still want to say, in the ordinance, 1148, it's written such that to come back and raise the rate later, you only need a resolution rather than an ordinance. I think if y'all are going to raise taxes, that's the most important vote y'all make in a year. I think that should require 2 votes. That should require some debate.
It has to be a resolution.
Has to be a resolution.
It comes back as the tax rate is set by resolution.
But there is a whole advertisement period and everything that it has to go through. It's not something that's just going to pop up and then it's going to be voted on.
Now,
There is laws that you have to follow,
Yes.
whether,
We have
either to
strict
accept the
rules.
rate or to raise it.
Yes, we have to publicize it in the paper and do all of those things to give enough time for a public hearing. We advertise it for a length of time, and then before we ever have, and then we'll have the public hearing to set the rate, to make the decision.
Okay. I'll just, I would like to point out, I think after the year we've had, this is not the time for a tax increase. And there are a lot of people who have had a really bad year. And I get that the city's had some rough times too, but, I mean, our revenues have been pretty steady. I don't think this is the time for that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward during the public hearing? I see no one else. I'll go ahead and close this public hearing, and we'll move into item B, ordinance number 1147.
An ordinance of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, making and fixing the annual appropriations of the several departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021 and ending June 30, 2022.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion for ordinance number 1147.
To approve ordinance number 1147.
Second.
I already have a motion by Councilmember Helton and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I'd like to cover a few things. If you'll recall at the last meeting, City Manager Dorsey went over several items that was brought forth during the FY22 budget workshop needs, and that total from court, police, fire, animal services, streets, traffic, parks, every one of our departments totaled somewhere in the neighborhood of about $4,015,993. If you'll also recall that he said that he stated that we spent several weeks with department heads and with admin going through and identifying what we felt was needs to help not only sustain but continue to improve services. And I would like to go over those again real quick just in case somebody missed those last week. So I believe you should have the proposed FY22 amendments to the budget, which was, you'll see a library, because we've already, because as the budget was already presented, you'll see a variance of $20,000. That was because there was too much money that was actually put into the library for salaries. Parks, part-time additional employee, it was $30,000 needed for additional part-time to work weekends and rotate employees. There was a parks full-time position that was given up. So you'll notice that's a $51,800 reduction, and that was also the position that was used for East Ridge High School. A traffic laborer position, that's a $51,800 addition, which is for the traffic department, which includes painting signs, signalization, and inspections. That's one issue that we've had with being able to keep up with the correct maintenance for all of our traffic signals and cabinets. Also, the hiring of 2 police officers is also recommended in the amendments. That is a $125,000 from the list of the police chief's 6 requested officers. Also, there's $170,000, which was a transfer to Hamilton County EMS from over 4 years, and that's an estimated. Obviously, that can be changed as it relates to in-kind services. There's some other opportunities or some other options that I think is still being discussed within the administrative. But as for now, that $170,000 placeholder is there. And the other is the salary pool stabilization. That's $600,000. You'll also recall that Mr. Dorsey ran through a whole list of salaries and the structure where sanitation workers in East Ridge are paid 75 cents less on the dollar compared to cities of the same size. We have police officers starting $1 to $4 lower than those of Chattanooga, Collegedale, and Hamilton County. Our court clerk wages are 33% less than those in other cities in Hamilton County. Codes enforcement are compensated at approximately 25% less than all the other agencies within the same that are roughly the same size throughout the county and in the state. Administrative professionals earn 30% less than cities that compared to the same size. And then the records clerks within ERPD is earning about 15% less than other cities and municipalities in Hamilton County. So those proposed amendments that I just discussed also included a $200,000 contribution to combine with the current $500,000 that we have in state street aid fund to work on the worst sections of roadway in the city, which brought a total of $1,105,000. So the proposed FY22 amendments would be adding $1,105,000. We are looking at the vehicles for police. Those will be paid out of the COVID funds, which we'll discuss later on within the meeting. And then $49,265 will come from the drug fund for the upfit and equipment. And then for the fire engine, I know that's been discussed for a new squad over the last several months. We will be ending a debt service payment in next.
The final one is this coming year.
Okay.
Where we set aside to pay $115,000 to the capital projects fund each year for 5 years because we paid cash for the last engine.
So that's correct. So at the end of that last payment, it would be recommended that we have a $30,000 placeholder, and that would make up the difference for the purchase of that new squad, and then sending the other one off on Gov Deals or selling it to an additional department. They've started to rack up quite a bit of maintenance issue on that, but those proposed amendments that I just read off were discussed at the last meeting. I wanted to make sure I read back over and covered those again, and again, that totals out to $1,105,000.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we do have staff proposed amendment, so I'll entertain a motion. If
I'd like to
anyone,
make a motion, we put this on hold till we get the state's final assessment on what our property value is going to be.
all right. Have a motion to place this on hold. Do I have a second? Do we have anyone that will second? I see no second. Motion dies on the floor. I'll entertain another motion, or
I make a motion to include these proposed amendments in Resolution 1147.
Second the motion.
And let's do this if the motion, since the amendment, since there's a some that are listed on here, what we could do is let's make this an exhibit, Ms. Middleton. So just propose on the motion, make it a motion to amend to include the proposed fiscal year 22 amendments as identified by staff. And that's what we'll have as the motion.
Do I need to say that?
No, we'll attach this as an exhibit to the minutes.
Yep.
That way there's no confusion as to, you're asking for all the
Yes,
proposals. Yeah.
all 22
Let's make
of
this an
them.
exhibit so that way it's clear as to what those items are.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Helton to approve the amendment. Do we have any discussion?
And this would be this is a motion to amend the outstanding
Correct.
motion right now.
Okay, so where's the extra million gonna come from?
The extra million, the general fund.
General fund. How much have we got in the general fund?
Your general operating budget is currently what was set at,
16 million?
I believe so. That's correct.
So we're gonna get this extra million out of that 16 million.
You're going to need to add the million,
Add the million.
$1,105,000 to your existing budget.
Any other questions? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton, for the amendment.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
No.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Amendment passed, so now we carry
So
forward.
now we go back to the original motion, which is now
Correct.
amended, would be ordinance number 1147, an ordinance of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, making and fixing the annual appropriations of the several departments of the city of fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021 and ending June 30, 2022, as amended by Exhibit A to this, which is the proposed fiscal year 22 amendments.
And we have the motion in the second, correctly. So we just need a roll call.
It's roll call at this point.
Yes. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
No.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance number 1147, passed second final reading.
The changes
Amended.
will be made to the final ordinance before it's submitted to the state,
Okay,
because it still, it goes to them now for approval.
all right. Thank you. We'll move to item C, ordinance number 1148.
An ordinance of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to provide for the general revenue thereof for the fiscal year 2021, 2022 on an interim basis pending receipt of the certified rate from the assessor of property of Hamilton County, Tennessee, pursuant to TCA Section 67-5-1701, to be known as the General Revenue Ordinance for said year.
Yes, sir.
Again, Mayor and Council, this is our current rate that we have today, and just serves as a placeholder until we actually receive that certified rate from the county.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1148.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1138.
Second.
48, 1148,
sorry.
correct. That's all right. Just want to make sure.
1148.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I asked this question at the last council meeting. We're voting here to accept this $1.33 right now. Whenever the state comes back with a lower assessment rate for us, then we're going to vote on to accept that or add to it.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yes, you would either vote to accept the rate,
Certified rate.
the certified rate that is submitted, or make an amendment, which would be an increase. And then that's what you would select as your rate that you've accepted. But again, this is just a placeholder until you receive that rate.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item D, ordinance number 1149.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the fiscal year 2021 operating budget, ordinance number 1129, for various expenditures in the general fund using fund balance.
Yes,
ma'am.
There have been no changes. This is just where I'm cleaning up this year's budget. We'll be moving somewhere, more was spent, but we also did have some revenues that came in stronger, so we'll amend the revenues also, so. I've tried to offset the revenues and the expenditures, and see how, we're already starting the process, getting ready for audit, even though I hadn't closed yet, so. But this will take care of the rest of it.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1149.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1149.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance number 1149 passed second and final reading. We'll move to item 9, new business. Item A, resolution number 3159.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving an interlocal agreement for the City of East Ridge to provide fire and police services to the City of Ridgeside.
Yes, Mayor and Council, these are just the terms and the payments breakdown over the next 3 years for the interlocal agreement with the City of Ridgeside. If you'll see, it's a 4% max increase over the next 3 fiscal years.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3159.
Motion to approve resolution number 3159.
I'll second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Helton and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do you have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any kind of cost analysis to see how we stand at what it's costing us to provide these services? I've read the contract. It says we're supposed to furnish 4 trips over there every 24-hour period. And how many other calls are we having over there on top of those 4 in the police department? How many open detective cases do we have working over there? And every time there's a call above these 4 hours, how many, these 4 people, then how many other calls do we have during and in between those?
We are making four patrol rounds every 24 hours. I don't have the numbers on how many other calls that we're getting, and I'll be happy to pull that from 911. It's not very high, but we do have some other calls.
Well, I sat down today and done a little figuring, and since we've done this thing right here, your patrol officers are asking for a pay adjustment of $1.13 on the hour that's been approved here tonight in the budget. So at that rate of $18.54, we're going over our 4 hours a day. I'm saying that's how long it takes to go here, go over there, patrol, and get back to East Ridge per trip. Do you agree with that?
I'm not sure I know what you're asking, Mr.
Okay,
Kendall.
how long does it take y'all to go to Ridgeside and back and patrol the whole neighborhood over there? Well, I estimated an hour.
30 to 45 minutes to an hour probably be the
Okay.
best.
Well, that 18.54 on our current pay times 4, it adds up to about, let me find my piece of paper here. Did I bring it? But anyway, the total thing that I've come up with, we're wanting to charge them $74,000 for next year's services. And I think they're the 4 hours times the 365 days a year it's coming up roughly close to $30,000. That's not counting their benefits, it's not counting the car, it's not counting the insurance. And then, like I said earlier, if we have any open cases over there that we're having to have detectives, court time, stuff like that, I just like to see a cost analysis of how many trips and how much it's costing us. And when there's calls over like shot fire, I'm sure you just don't send one car, so.
Correct.
Things like that. And then when we have a medical call, you all send a car with the first responders. So that'd be, I don't know if Mike would include that in his or you would include it in yours. So, but that's something I'd like to look at before we extend this second and third year.
Okay.
Not against this first year, this second, third year with these new pay rates coming in.
As far as the pay rates go, it's my understanding that my proposal for pay increase for the entire department was not included in this budget, that there was a cost of living increase, but I don't think the proposal that I had was included.
That's correct. Your proposal was not included.
So that rate has not changed on the daily. I know it's not a real significant amount, but that's not included.
So the 600,000 salary adjustment.
That's citywide, not just police.
All right, that's citywide, so it goes into the police department.
It
too.
does, but
Right,
it
okay.
varies on the amount.
See, I don't have the list of what each individual, no, I've got what he's,
But I can,
that I've got right here.
right, if that's, and you should show me that again, Mr. Cagle. No, that was not included in the budget.
This was included in the wish list.
Yes, sir. However, as far as the number of calls, how long we're staying, how many officers we're sending and everything, that's something that I can provide. I just don't have those numbers in front of me.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm asking that is because we've got a 6-month grace period where we want to go up on them, cancel, or they want to cancel us.
Right.
But I would like to look at the cost, because I looked at it several years ago, and back then, Mike might remember, the cost come up to about 25% increase, and the city of Ridgeside jumped up and down, rejected it wholeheartedly. I forget the mayor was here, and so I'd just like to look at those trips and things again, the cost on it.
And I'm not trying to pass the buck or anything, but the police department was not involved in the decision to increase and continue. And I mean, obviously, we're going to do what the city decides, but we didn't propose the increase. That came from
That was a staff increase.
the staff increase, which, like I said, we're happy to be a part of it, but we didn't ask for more money.
I understand.
And also, it's for a 1-year term.
That's correct.
With 2 1-year options.
It's, the way I read it here, it's for 1-year term,
Correct?
2 1-year terms extended.
You have an option
So you
to
have an
extend.
option
With
to
an option.
extend.
You
Right.
can
So I
cancel or
would like to
terminate
get
within
this-
6 months.
Yeah.
I would like to get this cost analysis put in front of us to see if 4% next time is gonna be sufficient, which I don't think it will be.
You would have 6 months to
Right, from now to December.
make that decision.
So it might take that long to get what I'm asking for.
It very well may.
Okay.
And I'd also, if you want to, you could break it down per citizen of East Ridge and see what they pay. If you want to break it down per citizen.
think that's
per
what we
household.
did.
Well, that's
I think
already
that's-
been
I think
broke
that's
down.
how the rate came up. That's how-
Exactly,
Yeah, that has already been broke down.
But I think that's how the whole rate is structured.
Population.
exactly. That's how it was done,
Original contract is based on population.
yes. That rate was based upon the East Ridge population, and then we extended it to the number of residents that lived in Ridgeside, if my memory is correct.
No
What I
commercial property,
understand.
that's correct.
So, I mean, it didn't hurt to redo it.
Because they're getting a cheap fire protection.
But they're getting quality fire protection.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they are getting a cheap fire protection.
I second
For
that.
their ISO rating.
Councilman Cagle, I do see your concern. I look at the number of times that we respond over there, for fire.
most of those calls are generated for citizen assist. We go over and we pick somebody up out of the floor and we assist them back to bed and such. Doing that, we send a rescue over, we don't send an engine company, on 98% of those calls, okay? And that's because there's crews manning that. But we typically run over 30, less than 40 calls over there a year. Number we have, we see a little increase in the number of calls sometimes, but that typically depends on a medical situation that a resident may have, and that tends to increase those numbers. But for what we're providing Ridgeside, I think that our numbers are fair. I mean, cost.
And correct me if I'm wrong, on those type of calls, getting somebody up, we do not respond with you, is that correct?
I was told you I would. That's the reason why I want to see the,
Right.
yeah. Because it's hard to figure the cost without knowing everything. I agree 100%. I do.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions?
No, I just like to, you know.
So my quick math, the city of Ridgeside pays about $246 per person, and city of East Ridge pays about $108 a year per person. That's just for fire. We can take a deep dive into it.
Yeah.
That's just rough math.
Okay. All right. All right, no other questions. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. We'll move to item B, resolution number 3160.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, accepting a proposal from Tyler Technologies for hosting a records management system for the East Ridge Police Department.
Chief Allen?
Yes, Mayor, Council, thank you. We have been in the past piggybacking off first Chattanooga and then Hamilton County with our records management system. And we really kind of got forced into doing that because we didn't have our own records management system. So we proposed to get a bid for records management. We put a request for proposal out and got 2 responses back. One is from Central Square, the other one from Tyler Technologies. Central Square is what we are currently using with the county, and it's not working. It's not working like we need it to work. But we did look at everything that they proposed along with Tyler. We had experience with Central Square. We had a very in-depth demonstration from Tyler. But the cost for Central Square over a 5-year period was $400,128.23. From Tyler Technologies, them hosting the software on their site, which puts them responsible for maintaining the servers and keeping our data intact. For the Tyler hosted software, the total for 5 years, it was an upfront cost of $97,213, and then over the remaining 4 of 5 years, the total was $230,492. The difference is about $75,000 total between Tyler that we have seen and we think will do what we need to do, and Central Square, which is not doing it.
Chief, is there surrounding departments using Tyler now?
Yes, Collegedale Police Department is using Tyler, and we've talked to them. They love it.
Okay. Is any of the other departments within Collegedale, other municipal departments within Collegedale using Tyler, do you know?
I don't know. I do know that Tyler has a pretty wide range of
platforms. Their their
They've got a lot of
platform
systems.
is kind of
And-
versatile.
And as another note, our electronic citation that we are using and have been using for about 3 years now is Tyler. And
Been
we've been
pleased?
very happy with it.
Did you hear anything about OpenGov?
What?
Did OpenGov, did you have any communications or emails back from OpenGov?
And we, Assistant Chief Usselton and I had been to TACP Vendor Expo in April. Lot of record management systems there. When we got this proposal done, it was published, but we also sent it to probably six, Clint? Six other vendors? 6 or 7 different vendors. Other vendors. We only got 2 responses. So the police department is requesting and recommended that we go with the Tyler records management system.
What was the
Thank you,
total
sir.
on that again?
I'm sorry?
What was the total on Tyler? 200 and,
97,213 for the first year, and that includes license fees and the annual fee and the training. All of those don't recur. The annual fee is the only thing that recurs. So it's 97,213 for the first year, and then $57,623 per year for the next 4.
next 4, okay.
Yes, sir.
misunderstood.
So we got 97,213, 230, 492. And I didn't total it. About 325,000.
All right, thank you, sir.
Resolution here, it reads, $57,623 for 5 years. You just said 4.
It's 57,623 every year for 5 years. Then in the first year, there are also the upfront costs, $34,000 for license fees,
Okay.
which will not be repeated, $5,540 for training, which will not be repeated. And then the 57,623 is for years 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Thank you for that clarification. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3160.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Thank you. This is going to make our records better.
thank you. Resolution number 3160 passed. Move to item C, resolution number 3161.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to commit additional local funding for the Ringgold Road multimodal project.
Yes, Mayor and Council, you're aware we've discussed multimodal for a number of years. Actually, we discussed it quite a bit yesterday during the executive meeting downtown. Even though we have had some issues and some delays within the project, they did applaud us for what we're able to do and get accomplished as a small town about moving projects forward. I kind of chuckled when they said that because I feel like we've been talking about these projects forever, but we're right here getting it to the finish line. We're just waiting on the notice to proceed for the multimodal. I actually sent an email back today to their environmental review, since that's in about the 3rd review that they've had, asking for a quick turnaround. But what happened with the $129,234 difference is we had multiple projects, and one of them was an ADA, if you'll remember the ADA project, that they were going to do sidewalks at about 30 different locations. The problem with that was they terminated to areas that was not ADA compliant all throughout the city. So when the multimodal project was awarded, there was discussions that took place about just combining those projects, because ADA is a component of the multimodal project. So if you went ahead and did ADA first, when you come back through the multimodal, you're going to have a complete redundancy. So it was a combination of projects, but there was some miscommunication from the state of Tennessee, program director, the local programs, and then the tip pages that's ran through the transportation organization here locally about moving funds back and forth. So needless to say, we had to get the tip pages lined up, so it left a shortfall of about $129,234, which we still believe we can get added into the end of the project. So currently, if something happens, we were $129,000 short, but we do feel like we can get it added back in on the end of the project.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 3161.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 3161.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Whit and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir, one quick question.
Yes, sir.
How much was the original grant for the ADA? And then, how did we miss the $129,000?
I do not have, because those are both significant numbers, and I don't have that grant contract sitting right here in front of me. I know the multimodal's $1 million, $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the ADA was a significantly lower than that. But I'll be happy, I can email that to you on Monday.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think the shortfall came when they were combined and the funds didn't get reallocated.
It was, and it was supposed to be
Miscommunication.
it was supposed to be a smooth transition, no issues, but when the pages don't line up and it goes back through the audit at the state, it holds up our main project, which is the multimodal project, which we don't want anything else to expire as it relates to our design or NEPA documents, because there's just more that has to go back through a
Correct.
review. And every time it goes back to a review, even though one group reviewed it and said everything was okay, it gets back to review, somebody else looks at another section of it, and then they want to provide comments. So it's a vicious cycle. We had a pretty healthy debate with TDOT last week on the phone, but it was a positive call.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Well, it's a necessary thing we need to do, so yes.
Councilmember Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3161 passed.
And this will come out of the Capital Projects Fund.
Correct. All right, we'll move to item D, discussion of dog park. Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Council. I was wanting to put this back on discussion. I think we talked about bringing this back before the council after we got, before we knew if we were going to get awarded the $25,000 grant or not. So I guess I kind of wanting a consensus here, kind of what some feedback from the council as to what location we would like the dog park to be at. So far, we have the full fencing portion of the dog park that has been donated to the city. I've just recently been able to raise about $4,000 more for the park benches. So as it stands right now, we've got the fencing, we've got the park benches that we potentially have at our disposal right now, and including the $25,000 dog grant. So I guess, in my opinion, I think that, with us having the splash pad that's about to be constructed down here at City Hall, and then we have, the playground, we've got the library, the rec center, to me, it makes more sense for us to have the dog park right here at City Hall. I think I pointed out the location, which I think Mr. Custer had agreed that would probably be the best location for City Hall. I'm not speaking for you. I know you. I think for those who don't remember, it was going to be over here on the south end corner near the library, and where we had all the ample parking over there. It seemed like a pretty ideal location for a dog park. So again, my opinion is I think we need to have it down here at City Hall opposed to Springvale Park. I'm not too crazy about Springvale Park because it is flood zone. And it's, you know, again, like down here at City Hall, we've got police presence. We have people, you know, already down here, you know, visiting that are going to be visiting the splash pad and the playground. So it just, to me, it makes more sense to just add to the amenities that we already have here at City Hall. I think one of the biggest questions would be is, do we take the donations that we're getting for the fencing and the benches do we want it to go towards the $25,000 dog grant? Do we want to put it all together and make one dog park that can be the best dog park it can possibly be, or do we take the donations for the fencing and the benches and put it down here at City Hall? I think we still have a question that has to be answered if the $25,000 grant must be spent at Springvale. So I think that's something that we
That was the location we submitted, was Springvale.
It says it's probable location, so that does have to be discussed along with some budget. There has to be a budget, an O&M budget. There's several documents that we still have to submit back, but that question does need to be asked. And then, as it relates to the location of this, I know you did a brief rendering, but it would probably be wise if we're considering either doing one or both. Let's put both plans together and set them out and kind of see what it looks like, whether it's going to be one main park or whether we're going to use the grant for the park that's already been applied for, and then the portion of the funds that's already been raised to go into an additional park to create two parks instead of one. So I think there's a couple options there, and it's just how the council wants to approach that and look at it. I know you had some basic renderings and kind of had some ideas about what you were thinking, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to at least put that out there and take a look at it, and then you all decide on what you think's best.
Well, you know, I just don't want to procrastinate any further than we have. I do believe in proper planning, that's for sure, but you know, I've got a fencing company here that's ready to put down a fence probably any day now. And I need to get the park benches ordered. We need to take the donations, get them ordered, and it's probably going to take about 10 weeks for those to come in. So anything that we do now and act on now is still going to take some time for it to materialize. And I'd like to see it's something constructed before the end of the summer.
Now,
Absolutely. I think it's, sorry, Diane.
I was going to say, when we submitted the grant, we submitted the budget for the dog park at that time. So we sent as much as we could. We
Right.
presented as much as we could. So we already have the budget for that dog park. So we won't have to work on getting it. We already have it.
Did that include the 3-year O&M budget, operating and
I believe
maintenance?
so. I'll let you look at it tomorrow.
So we have money in the budget to purchase equipment for the dog park.
No, it's not in the new budget yet because a grant, I prefer not to put it into the budget until we actually receive it. So now that we know we have received it, the first time I have to amend the 2022 budget, we will show that we received the Dog Dash Park. Say that really fast.
Well, you know, I'm really in favor of going ahead and pulling the trigger on getting the fencing constructed down here if it's the will of the council to, like I said, take the donations of the fencing and the benches and just to go ahead and put it down here at City Hall, we can have us a dog park sooner than later. But again, 2 weeks from now, will we have a bigger, a more of a perspective on what we want to do with this? Because
I definitely know what
several months.
Absolutely, and I know your plan. We've been waiting on a lot of things to come in. One, the dog park grant. One, other development opportunities, which are knocking on the door. So it's completely up to you all if you want to take this next 2 weeks and actually look, because we'll have because we have been awarded the grant now, so that's kind of behind us. It's not a hypothetical at this point. So now that we've been awarded the grant, see what the stipulations are to make sure that it doesn't get voided by putting it up here and something happened and having to go away, whatever the case may be, and then just make the decision. So I mean, if you want to put it up on the agenda for next meeting for discussion, take action. then that's what I'd provide everybody the information, you know,
Okay,
a week
but
ahead of time.
I'm asking staff to really get involved in these next 2 weeks and really put something together to present to the council as to what, so we can make a sound decision on how we want to spend this money and where we want to spend it.
Well, I promise you, I'll give you 4.5 good days.
May I say something?
Yes.
I thought here a couple of council meetings ago, or the last council meeting, that I made the motion to accept the fencing donation and have it installed at Springville Park. So they would go ahead and put it up. That's the way I remember. I can go back and find it, but
I apologize.
I actually
I
thought the
don't
fence
recall that, but
up.
I remember the
I
discussion
actually
on that.
thought the fencing was already up at Springville Park, but that's my fault for not going down there and checking.
I know we we passed a resolution to accept the donation. I don't think it was
Site specific.
site-specific.
Correct.
I would
I
rather
thought
see
that's the way I
I would
made
rather
it.
see the park here at City Hall versus Springville, unless we can have both.
Yeah, that was my question. Can we have both? We've got the Dog Dash grant for Springville, and then we have the donation. I mean, we could go from 0 to 2.
You know, I'm not opposed to doing anything down there at Springville Park. I think we should do something down there. I don't think a dog park is ideal, in my opinion, just because it is. If you've ever been to a dog park, it's pretty muddy, even in the summertime, even after it rains, it's hard to get grass to grow. And I'm afraid that it's just going to be so messy and muddy down there because of the floodplain, and that people are not going to want to go down there. It's just me. And then if you have 2 dog parks, I know that sounds nice, but is one going to attract away from the other? Is it going to? And they're not really that far apart. Again, I don't know. That's something to think about.
My only concern is what are we doing about the development with McBride? You know, if we're selling that, if we've got developers coming in and they're gonna pay us for that land, are we gonna tear up the dog park coming down the pike? Because I hate to put that money into it and then a year from now, you know,
Well,
destroy it.
I think we're talking about moving some benches, and then you can move fencing pretty easily.
And
Yes.
I've been waiting, you know, and I'm all for some development down here where McBride is. You know, to turn it into a town center or building onto the park that we already have, it's just hard for me to think that if we have a 1/4 of an acre dog park located on the farthest end of this parcel that's constructed as a dog park, if it's going to be interrupted anything that goes on where the whole property exists on McBride School. And if any developer was to come in here and say, hey, I want to do something really creative with this property, make it a town square, and, you know, I think a dog park probably would add to the attraction of whatever it is they're wanting to do.
I think with the splash pad and the playground, I think that that's not gonna go away, no matter who buys McBride, so I think the dog park would be a great addition.
And if we are forced to sell the McBride property, not forced, but if that's something we decide to do, the council, whenever the time comes, we can create some property lines and deed off that dog park and keep it, if that's something that we need to do to stay in the good graces of the grant.
I mean, honestly, I mean, this has been kicked around long enough. Obviously, we were awarded the grant. We got a few small bits of information that we do have to make sure that we follow. We don't want to lose the grant, and then discuss, take action next meeting, whether you want 1 or 2, and y'all vote and decide, and that's where the dog park will go.
I'll be fine with that.
So would you like that to be added to so when we get to the end, make sure you add that to the
We're going to talk before you leave in
Ne-
4
next-
days, right?
next meeting? Yes, we will.
Okay.
And I'll even come back if you want me to.
Oh, hey, I
For-
appreciate
For a
that.
conversation.
All right. Yes, I'd like to have it added to the next agenda.
All right, any other discussion on that item? If not, we'll move. Okay, that's the end of all the items on the regular agenda. So now we'll discuss the tentative agenda items for July 8th council meeting. Under 8, Old business, we have nothing. So then under under new business, we'll have a unnumbered resolution to accept the direct appropriation grant.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the state has appropriated funds for the 21-22 local government grant program to aid communities in the COVID-19 recovery effort. The funds are non-reoccurring, must be used for one-time expenses, and the city will receive $246,749, which will be allocated for the acquisition of police vehicles.
Thanks, sir. Any discussion, council? I see none. Then I'll add B, that will be the discussion, take action on the dog park. And that's all we have under new business.
We'll need to add one item. It will be, we have requests for quality RFQs coming in tomorrow for youth soccer at Camp Jordan. Those RFQs are scheduled to be in around 2:30 tomorrow, so that will need to be added to the next agenda after staff reviews and makes the recommendation.
All right, thank you, sir. Any discussion on that? See none? See any other items of business we'd like to discuss?
Well, we're going to have a resolution to join another purchasing alliance, and this one is the Houston Galveston. Is that correct? To be able, we will be using them to purchase a fire truck when we decide on which one we want, you know, the engine or the technical. But, and it's a huge purchasing alliance out of Texas.
Awesome. All right. Any other items? I hear none. I want to thank everyone for attending tonight. Everyone have a very safe and happy 4th of July. We won't meet until afterwards. So appreciate everything. This meeting is adjourned.